So it's 7 o'clock on Monday, January 10th, and we're starting the Recreation Committee meeting. We'll do a roll call to show who's in attendance. Gina,
Here.
Kayla,
Here.
and myself, Kristen Belanger here. So there's three of us and Jen.
Here.
Let's see. What's the first thing on the agenda? I don't have the agenda pulled up in front of me.
The minutes.
Okay. What weeks are those from?
I was just gonna pull up the date too.
Shoot, I don't know where my phone is.
From December 6th.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the minutes from December 6th?
I'm still trying to find them. They're buried.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 6th, 2021.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Oh, there's Stephen.
Yep.
All right, all in favor? Kayla,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Stephen, did you have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes,
from
I did.
December 7th?
I approved them.
Okay, so that's a yes from you. All
Yes, it is.
right, and yes from me, so that's 4-0. Right, is correspondence next? Or
Bills.
bills? Okay. Does anyone have anything to add for bills?
I did not. I looked through them. This is Stephen.
Okay.
Nope.
Anything, Jen, you want to point out? Any particular?
Yeah, nothing major. The biggest ones are just the end of the fall session of some sport after school programs. Some replacement parts for playground at Riverview. A few refunds.
Okay. And then as far, okay, yeah, so as far as bills, there's nothing else to talk about, so we can move on past that. At some point later in the meeting, I don't know if it was under your director's report, are you gonna talk to us about the budget?
I do
Or
that.
about, future capital improvements or?
Oh, I didn't know if you meant this year's, what I've submitted for this year's,
Like,
our fiscal year budget.
yeah, that's
operating
what I was
budget.
wondering, okay.
But,
Okay, so the next thing, would that be the correspondence?
that is his correspondence. Yep.
Okay, and you sent Were there-
So I sent 3 different ones.
3, okay.
Yeah.
Did everyone have an opportunity to look at those messages that Jen sent?
No, I'm looking at number 1 right now.
And then
Do you want to give us a little rundown on those, Jen?
Yeah, so basically, I don't know if you followed any of the kind of the decorations conversation that happened after celebrates the holidays, but some people, there's not a lot up there. There wasn't a lot that we felt we could do at the time. We learned 2 days before that we had power up there, which we didn't think we had power. And so we ran some lights in the gazebo and such, like we normally would decorate the gazebo, but didn't think we could pull off at least a 5-foot tree underneath at the time, and turn that around. And in general, people just felt like it was very under decorated. And so they kind of spearheaded the movement to do so, and put up, work with parks to put out those previous barrels planters that we've had around the town, and some wreaths and some other, pine and such. And so that was just an email reaching out about, that conversation. And then, Bill Nicholson from the Historic District Commission, just acknowledging the work that was done and that they like to see it. And so I just didn't know how much you guys had heard or seen any of the conversation, and making sure you understood the context. And
What you sent, Jen, I think it sounded like it was, there was an effort to reach out and come together to put together the decorations up on the common.
mhm.
That's what it appeared to me.
Yeah, so someone had come up, Celeste had come up and talked to Carrie. I was out of the office. It was the day after celebrates the holidays. And just said, hey, and so she ended up, her and Deb Adams met with Evan just to get approval, and we just, that time they were looking for us to a budget, and it was just not a budget with this year that we at last minute, could do. So they kind of rallied to get a few donations and a bunch of volunteers. And so it looks great. Open if they want to, move forward with some sort of decorating committee, by all means. Now they got, we have a bar set here for
I
it.
think it
So,
made a big difference. It looks good. You can't go wrong with some greenery and bows.
And next year we'll have the light posts, so they'll be able to decorate those. And then maybe, I don't know if you've had any more information to update on with the renovation committee for the common or whatever, but we had talked about maybe trying to get a bigger Christmas tree planted as part of their budget. So
yeah,
maybe
so when
we'll
Bill
have
reached
that.
out to me that day when it was all starting to go, social media and this, and I just want people, they understood what the restrictions were, or what the Historical District Commission had, expressed as what their wishes, their likes and, dislikes and what have you, and who they might want to include and, before they move forward with anything. And then he reached out to me to see what I knew. And, we did have the opportunity to put a either 18 or 26-foot replacement in there. It was really kind of last minute. We're gonna have to get a crane, the whole thing. We still didn't have power, or think we're gonna have power, or if they were gonna start construction, at any minute up there. And so, and kind of me looking, going, it's got to be maybe a bigger conversation versus us trying to come up with $200 to $4,500 to replace it. What can the town kick in? What can this project kick in? And so that's why I told to Bill, I said, I don't know, if you can look at, what you're able to contribute to put a more sizable tree there as a replacement. And so we thought we could, all have that conversation about who could give what, maybe this spring.
Oh, good.
Who did you say that to about the tree?
Bill Nicholson, he's the chair of the Historic District Commission,
Okay.
who's behind the project of the whole renovation of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna lobby hard for a big tree when it comes to their planting schedule.
Yes. So
Okay.
4,500 for a 26-foot Norway spruce.
That is totally worth it.
You can drive the crane.
All right. And then there was another one about the basketball in the gym.
Yeah, so same thing. I just like to, when there's kind of conversations that they're going on with maybe misinformation, making sure that you guys are getting the story from us. And so I didn't know if you heard any of that involving basketball, but in general, we've just always in years have run into issues here at the municipal center, and kids being on the stage and maybe causing damage, or basketball getting blamed even if it wasn't us, and that sort of thing. And this year we're kind of running into a situation with the senior center and equipment set up and breakdown and stuff. And so I learned a couple weeks ago that we weren't using 2 of the 4 schools that we typically use every night because the program was not as large as in years past. And so I reached out to our coordinator and I just said, do we need this size gym or this size hoops or whatever it is, can we just maybe this year just leave the municipal center. So we're not trying to deal with all these different logistics in a year where people are whatever, short staffed and high strung and, and whatever. If we have a space to be, that might cause less issues. And it kind of turned into a, they were banned from here conversation and no longer welcome to use the space, basketball, and that's not the case. So we just had one or two people reach out, that went to then Evan and the select board, right, when they reached out. And so just when it gets to that level, I just like you guys to know the context of what's happening.
Thank you for sending that, John.
So that was just a miscommunication that,
I asked Don, I said, I hope you didn't misinterpret what I was asking or how you let them know why we were no longer there. And he said he never used the word ban. He just, I think a lot of people just got maybe a little fiery, right? And kind of said, what do you mean? Why can't we, and we've been there for years. So it's just a this year thing. I think we're going to have to be here next year if we get back to the numbers, right, we were at anyway. But just trying to eliminate a few issues on everyone's plate. And then the next day, the building closed down for 2 weeks anyway. So we couldn't have been in here anyway. So
were they not happy with the replacement gym? Like they wanted to specifically be at that one, or were they just upset because they thought they were like,
no, they
kinda
just thought they were
being
getting kicked
blamed?
out. They just thought they were being banned and
Okay.
no longer, could use the space. But that wasn't the case. So I just let people know it was me. It was my decision. I reached out and see if we could, move some things around, just to make it easier on everyone on this side. And like I said, then we had to close because we couldn't staff it anyway. So,
Jen, just out of curiosity, how much lower are the numbers this year?
I didn't think they were that much lower, but I mean, I'd have to look at the actual number, but it's enough to not be in that we cut off 2 of the schools that we would normally be at. So I don't know if that was just a matter of typical, like some coaches wanting to coach at the same times, and we had to kind of divide and conquer, and now they're a little more flexible, right, about maybe what nights they can coach, or what. But it didn't seem to be a lot less to me. I have to confirm.
Okay.
Was there any other correspondence or was that it?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. What's the next thing on the list?
And then it was just all your updates between CPC, programming, open space.
All right, I don't have any updates. Stephen, do you have anything with open space?
No, I don't. I did meet
Um,
with Jen in the office before Christmas. And we went through the action items that were assigned to us. But I haven't attended any a meeting since.
Are there any other committees, Jen? Besides
Um,
CPC and open space?
No.
Okay. Great. Next thing on the list?
Yeah, so the next few things, I know there wasn't a lot of time to review some of the stuff I sent you. But so the first thing up is 95 North Street. So basically, I've been working with Leah and Conservation to update. Basically, we took the request for proposal from the super park. So we had that template to work with. And I worked on updating it to reflect this new project at 95 North, in which CPC funded money for us to find to go to bid for a landscape architect to design the passive recreation park there. So I changed, basically the wording to a passive recreation park, and putting, RecCom and Concom in there, who both would be involved in the project. And then the context of, what the property is, what we're thinking we want to, at least immediately see for that. And then Leah updated with her portion, a little more history of the parcel, and then some of the soil information that we would need to get and what we've already done, to incorporate what we've already done, and then some of the wetlands delineation part that she's already done as well. So there's a lot of legally is googly-gook and the whole thing. But really, if you were to look at, and I can put it on the screen if you like to, but like the first couple pages, page 4 really has like the description, the scope, and the general behind the project. What Leah just added today, you'll see it is in blue. So it's really that section A on page 4 that was the most changed. And then on the next page, you'll see under part B, section 5, the soil information. But like I said, basically, I think it's a very similar project, and there are very similar things to what we'd be looking for, right, to be getting from this company between the plans and such. And so knowing what this plan got us for the super park, like I said, I think this would be very similar. So it wouldn't change a ton in it for the rest of the scope. It was just making it specific to this parcel. So if you didn't have a chance to read it, we can do it in February. We're just trying to, Lee and I were working out the time frame of when this would be for us to actually put this out to bid and start our working with someone, and then when they have it done by, and then, are we going to be able to pull this off in time for next spring's town meeting, to go to town meeting with an actual plan to ask for funding to develop it. So I didn't know basically how, like I said, how involved you wanted to be in this document before we actually went to the bidding process, and then what your thoughts were on then that process. So previously with the super park, like town staff met, we reviewed all the proposals that came in, narrowed it down to 3, interviewed those 3, and then I think we came to you with those 3 to get your thoughts. So we're just trying to lay that piece out between you and conservation, so we knew kind of the timeline that we would be looking at to lay these steps out.
Okay, so I just have a couple questions. So you said the blue were conservation's edits or additions.
Yeah,
when we're reading
I
it,
really,
right?
I could show you the original. I really, like I said, I changed like the project description following the same type of layout as we had before, the scope, and then updated that general section to reflect this property and the amenities we were looking for. And then Leah added, the blue.
Okay. I don't wanna, and ultimately, like, what's your preference as far as when you want to be able to put this out? Because I don't want to tie it up. I didn't have time. I scanned through it, but it's a large document, so I'd rather like sit down and look at it in a little more detail. But I don't want to hold you up, like waiting for our next recreation meeting in order to give you feedback. So is that something like, if you wanted it before then, could we just provide our comments individually to you, like via email, like this is our feedback? Since it's not like an open meeting that way, if we're responding to you individually, and then you could just take that with conservation and decide what you're gonna submit, or.
Yeah, and I think we will know more as we get, Leah's meeting with conservation next Tuesday. And then she was going to hear back whether they were like, yep, we're, because they should have gotten it today too. So they will have obviously more time to read it, hopefully before their meeting. And so if we didn't meet again till the 7th or whatever, like that's okay. I just wanted you guys, like I said, the rest of it is all the stuff that was in there before that either has to be there or that we didn't touch. I just wanted you guys to at least feel comfortable about that, like scope and like, the way we're explaining it and what thought we were asking for amenities wise. And like I said, just looking to see how much you wanted to be part of that. If you're saying fine, just do it, staff led, and we'll run with it. But I would like you guys to at least throw your eyes on that one section. So if that people
What
weren't able
does-
to look at that, then
What does the committee feel like? Would you rather come back to this at the next meeting and go through it with Jen and your feedback, or just is everyone okay with reading it individually, providing your feedback and sending it in?
This is Stephen, I'm happy doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I was able to have a pretty good look at it. It's pretty straightforward. I don't really see us having too much to say about it, but emailing would be fine.
Agreed.
Okay, so why don't we do that? Anybody that has any comments to make or suggestions for anything to be considered by Jen or conservation, send those to her via email by the end of the week this week. And then Jen can just take it from there and do what she has to do with it and can report back in February where they stand.
Sounds good.
And what are your thoughts on the level of involvement on reviewing the proposals that come in?
I would personally I think I remember we did that with the playground structures and things. I don't mind if you narrow down from all of the candidates, the top 3, like you said, but then I would like to at least understand whoever's doing the evaluation, like, is there a rubric you're using? Are there standard questions you're asking each of the companies? How did they score? Like, if we're not involved in that process, I'd at least like to see the reporting on it, to see how the companies compared with each other. And make sure that our priorities are the same as whatever they're bidding. So that would be my suggestion. Does anyone else have anything to comment on that?
Kristen, you articulated that very well. I agree with you.
Do you have something like that, Jen, like the standard question set that you sit down when you're in the interview process with the companies that you're considering?
Well, I mean, that's what we did for the super park. We went through the same process with everybody and spent some time, maybe 45 minutes with them, hour. And so yeah, I envision it the same way. So that stuff we could we can work on in the meantime if there's specific questions, especially you guys want to get across.
That might be something to put on the agenda for our next meeting, is to just kind of look at the questions you're asking now and just get everybody's feedback, or see if there's something specific we want to try to pull out of the person that's doing this park, and get that all taken care of before you start that process.
Okay, no, I just want to get nice so we can lay out, like I said, this timeline. So if depending, if you wanted to be all of them or whatever, or see any of them, what it would mean for when our next meetings were and, next steps. So.
All right. I mean, so that's I don't necessarily have to be involved. I'd just like to see the information either after the fact, how it all worked out, how they scored, who you chose.
Okay.
What's the next?
The next was just the open space and rec plan action items. And so, Stephen is our rep on the committee. The committee did reach out to us as a commission, just to get anyone's feedback on that. I sent it a couple weeks ago and I realized I probably should have sent it again in my latest thing on Friday. So I don't know if you guys came across that, or I was going to see if Stephen had met since the last time we had met, but that doesn't sound like it's the case, right? Okay, because we had some questions after we met that he was going to go back and ask them just for.
Yeah, and ask those
clarity.
specific.
But yeah, so when you guys get a chance, maybe for the next meeting, I just wanted to go through kind of our section that of action items in that document, which range from like, I can pull it up to, let's see here. Oops. Developing a 5-year capital improvements plan, develop and promoting programs for all age groups and user groups, develop a multi-year funding plan to finance better management of recreation lands, developing maps that prioritizing underserved areas. And then there were some other ones that was part of our thing that I think we're supposed to be assisting with, but the fact that it was kind of under us, I was questioning how they got there, like stocking, coordinating with DCR to stock the Cronin and Misco brooks, or securing land along the Blackstone River and Fisherville Pond and stuff. So how we can take those steps, because basically the committee is now formed to help make sure that these actions are completed in the 7 years that this 10 years
So
or whatever this plan is.
So the open space committee is also the implementation person for the project. Like they're the people responsible for making sure that it's implemented, like going to the different people who have actions and following up with them.
Yeah, so like Kristen, you were on the OSPR plan committee. You actually developed the plan, and now they dissolved that and recreated this committee to help facilitate things happening. So going to these respective boards and whoever they're tasked with these things and kind of where are we at, what's the progress on this, how can we help do this? And so some of the things on here I think is for as a commission, is what I was saying to Stephen, to get your feedback on, or so that you guys are with him on the same page with him, so when he's going back to these committee meetings, that then our voices, right?
Okay.
consistent.
So Stephen, you're gonna have that list. Do they like, do you have that list
I
of
have that
things that
list, yeah.
recreation's designated for?
Yes, I do. And those are the questions I need to go back to them with, is what is our real responsibility? Is it, if we are a committee, if we're assigned to a task, do we own the task? Or we contributing to the success of that task? I don't know for certain how we can take that lead role in many of those items.
And Jen, that isn't listed the way they designated it. It doesn't say partner versus like,
No, it does.
owner.
It will say, yeah, marked as lead, but some of them I was kind of questioning how, what is our role in it, because it's things that I felt were like way bigger than us, or like stuff that's kind of is outside of our scope, like stocking fish.
Yeah.
So it was just I don't remember, and Kristen, I don't know if you remember, like actually making the assignments. I know we did the priority and the timing, the ranking, right?
Yep.
I don't remember actually making like assignments, and then because it's listing partners and then who was the lead partner.
Right. I
Um,
remember that. But I wonder if Joe was the one, like, did we run out of time where Joe just became the person that made the assignments based off of what he knew with all the different, like how the committees work? I remember talking about that, but I can't say that I specifically remember going through the different committees and making those designations.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Cause some of them, like I said, were just, or if we're the lead, some of this stuff, I just didn't even, how to take the first step, in it. So, like developing the Grafton Trail Loop which would, we're talking easements and, all these other plans to make a, right, town my loop.
So is the planner your expert that you're supposed to use as like guidance when you have questions like that? Or who do they say that you can go to when you don't exactly know how to take next steps?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's listing the partners, right, between the select board, planning and conservation. But I think it's kind of,
It's hard without a consultant, like, to help you with those things.
yeah, and these
Um,
things, I mean, planning, I mean, they keep trying to get another person in there, but I mean, they're just so, right, the tasks, they're just over tasks. So
Yeah.
you look at these like really huge, bigger things, and how do you really take that,
All right. Well, that's good to know. Steven's gonna have that list. He's gonna ask those questions. And then when we get to his section of his report back every month, we can just kind of relook at the list and kind of identify, discuss together, okay, these are the high priority items. Maybe let's focus on the first two, and for ourselves, like, discuss how we're gonna get there and what the time frame is, and just like, pick away at it piece by piece to show some kind of progress. Cause I know that that's every town person's biggest pet peeve, is when they spend all the money on these planning reports and things, and then the departments or the committees just drop the ball on getting them done. And it's like, it doesn't do any good to be a plan if nobody does anything about it. So if we can just, check off a few of those things, I think that would be a good goal for us this year.
yeah, I'd be curious too, if I think it would try to look at what was on the 2007 plan, because a lot of these things carried over, right? And some are because they're ongoing, and and they're just ongoing. But,
Right.
Are there more low hanging fruits that were carried over that we are now in a different place to say, oh yeah.
Yeah,
we
check it
need to
off.
Really do it. So we're not doing it.
Right.
The next plan. So.
But yeah, connecting trails is a big project with a lot of departments and a lot of legal and
Yeah, but your circulators on that list too,
What?
Your circulators on this list too.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Wow. I would love to make that happen.
So you could be the the
I'll
spearhead
be
on it.
driving the circulator.
Show us
bus.
the
Circulator.
Like a little bus that, instead of like having set routes and stops, it's like a bus that kind of just travels around and kind of picks people up and takes them places like on demand. I know that Mass Department of Transportation has something similar now. It's called Via, and it's basically like an Uber through public transportation. But a circulator bus could do the same thing. It could pick kids up like that are on sports after school. It kind of can swing around the school, pick them up, take them to like a general location in their neighborhoods and stuff. It's great for kids that don't have licenses or older people. So that's always been my hope and dream for Grafton.
So you'd like book in advance, obviously, and
Agreeing,
like
yes.
coordinate it with them.
Yeah. I
How many
mean,
of
they
these
do it all different ways. In the town that I grew up in, you wouldn't have to book. It was still like a city bus, but you knew where the circulator at least stopped. He wouldn't have to go from point A to point B to point C. If you got on the bus and they're at point A and there was nobody there and you wanted to go right to C, he could do that. So there's different ways they operate, but like the one in Westboro is like there's an app you can put on your phone, just like Uber, and you can get it to come pick you up at certain locations, and they have like a range in the town that they'll take you to, for, it's not free, but it's minimal charge.
That's cool.
Well, to see logistically how that would work.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to see something like that coming in town.
So that's great news. All right, well, that's a lot to think about. What else? What's the next thing after the reports?
just the beach operation for this summer. So basically, I don't see continuing with swim lessons in the same manner makes sense for us. We're not, you know, getting people who are certified to do it. We've been kind of muddling our way through for quite a few years. And so I'm considering maybe somehow at least the lower levels, because it's an important part of, you know, that learn to swim age. But that's always affected our operating hours, right? Not opening till 11 because we're running swim lessons in the morning before we open to the public. And so with that idea, we would be able to change our operating hours. And there's always been that demand for opening earlier. And and I don't think we'd have to stay open as late because we weren't holding a 5:30 swim lesson where people were trying to, you know, get that in at the end of the day. So, you know, coming after the work and swimming, that idea has changed a little bit too. And we never really saw a ton of late afternoon, you know, early evening volume. It was always demand for the morning. So I was toying with the idea and talking to our past directors if we changed 10 to 6. We've been to 11-7 for, I'm sure, many years. Was looking to do 10 to 6. Maybe it's an 11 to 7 on the week, you know, Fridays and Saturdays, the weekends or something. But just wanted to get your thoughts on that at all. And if you wanted any input, you know, be able to give any input on the time change, or you're fine with me figuring it out.
So we would offer no swim lessons or just reduced amount of swim lessons?
Right now, I'm saying no swim lessons, but I would like to at least be able to offer the younger levels or our private level option. But for the past handful of years, we've only had, the past 2 years, we've only had one person certified to teach. And it's been maybe 2. And so doing those older levels, even though we don't have to, we only have to do that for saying we're a Red Cross certified, you know, we're a provider, American Red Cross provider, and you pay a fee and then you say that, and then you're supposed to meet these criteria. We don't have to do that. I think it's obviously best practice, and we wouldn't have to worry about having people get certified. But I don't think I would, you know, want to go that route. And so teaching the higher levels has always been very difficult, and obviously less popular, but the younger levels is important. And we've lost 2 years of offering them with us. But you know, it's between, you know, the drain on resources and the staffing issues. Operationally, it has been beneficial. It's just obviously an important thing, I think, to be doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get rid of all the lessons. Like, so you're saying it's just private lessons that people could sign up for? I know, forget the older or the more advanced levels. I agree, we can get rid of those. But the new beginner swimmers, like the first, maybe, you know, 2 levels, would that be by private lesson only, you're saying? Or would you still have a group lesson for the low levels?
Well, right now, I think that would be based on what we're able to get. Like, right, again, if we have this girl come back, it would only be one certified instructor. So, you know, how many, you know, group lessons could we really offer? So I thought, you know, if we weren't going to do anything, this was this out to say, we can at least offer you this, right? And it wouldn't be like a private lesson rate. I think it's just still that, you know, it's still an affordable, right, offering. We make it be affordable, but we're not trying to figure out where to put these classes in either shared space, right? Because that's always been difficult of where we can, when we go and have these, and we're trying to, right, do the beach. So smaller groups would be able to happen more times throughout the day, right? Versus these little windows.
Jen, what's the
Um,
criteria for instructor? How long does it take and how much does it cost? Like, are they required to do it on their own, or is there some way that we could kind of build capacity?
Yeah, I've offered, I mean, first of all, they get an increase in their base pay, another $1 an hour if they get their certification. And then while they're teaching, they've been getting an additional $1 an hour during teaching time. So it's motivated to get it, and then you're motivated to actually do something with it. I think versus just lifeguarding. So it's a class, maybe a week-long class, maybe a multi-week class based on how they, just like you would lifeguarding. And yeah, I mean, they're $400 classes or something, but over the years I've offered, 50% reimbursement on that as an incentive for people to do it.
I wonder, I don't know how it's been advertised in the past, but I wonder if having Mr. Carney share it in one of his weekly newsletters might attract some new people that are interested, or, if we've like, I don't know who the swim team coach is, but just reaching out to see if there's anyone who might be interested. Because my daughter, Maya's talked about lifeguarding. She is not a strong swimmer. I think she was motivated to make a little bit more money, but I would not say that's her strong suit.
And you don't have to be a lifeguard to be a swim lesson instructor. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You don't, they teach you some basic, water rescue. So while you're in the class, right? But it can be a separate.
Okay.
class.
Yeah, I think maybe asking, like putting a little blurb together for him to share in his newsletter might just help build capacity, just so, and I agree with Kristen, like, I don't think we need to focus on all the upper levels either, but to have, since like you said, we've lost some time over the last couple of years not being able to offer, if we just have more wiggle room and not relying on just one person, might build capacity at least a little bit.
And definitely try to find out who that swim team coach is, because the swim team for Grafton, aren't they made up of like 3 or 4 different communities? So you're actually going to pull from
Yeah,
a
I
wider
think the whole
group.
competition's in Whitensville.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
where most of our staff comes from, is from the Whitensville.
So they
swim team.
already know about it.
But it's that having them go through it and take, the money, and then that's why you try to go, well, I can do this, and then you get this. As
I guess
some
maybe
incentive.
maybe just Grafton Rec, maybe just on the Facebook page. Because I think if I were a parent, like, while my child might not be like paying close attention or have the wherewithal, like, if as a parent, if I knew that it's a $400 class and you get a 50% off discount and you get, this bump in pay, I don't know, some parents might say, hey kid, this is a perfect summer job for you. Because it is hard, at that age to try to find good jobs. I feel like there's always parents, like I'm parents of Grafton, like asking about job opportunities for kids.
I know, and I wish they would kind of change it too. So maybe it really could just focus on the lower levels, right? Because you have to take the class and know how to do like the butterfly yourself for like 25 yards to a certain level, right? Which is like everyone's downfall of the whole thing. Versus if you could just focus on like the learn to swim levels, right? You could eliminate that and probably have it a little more easy to,
Yeah.
enter.
But I definitely, like, I could still remember, Bob Fitzpatrick talking about the beach, and every time we had these conversations about how we lose money on it and why do we keep it around and all of this stuff. And it always comes back to, our responsibility to the community, since we have a body of water, to try to teach as many people as possible how to swim, just because it's a safety thing that we can share with the community. So I don't want to lose that, even if it's just a few classes a day, to say we don't have any learn to swim classes offered at a place where you swim. I don't know if I could agree with that.
I agree with you, Kristen. It's an obligation we have because we have a pond, Silver Lake. We have an obligation as a town to make sure our kids are trained to swim.
As much as possible.
And you look thrilled right now.
Yeah, I know it is. We just don't know how to, it's been a difficult go. And so, yeah, we just got to figure out how we're gonna, work it back into the operation. Same thing like last year was phased approach, and people were patient and happy, and not doing that for a couple years, and muddling our way through for a while. What we're able to do to get it back into,
Well, we were lucky for a lot of years because we had Brenda, who was like an expert in the area. She would pitch in and do it herself. Like, we don't have a swim person like that, it seems, right now. We just need to get our pulse on, like, obviously this is the same challenge everybody's having everywhere in the world right now, trying to find staff and people to do certain things. We'll just have to, it's going to be a harder process, but maybe we can find somebody. I mean, there are a lot of moms that, like Brenda was, you know what I mean? Like, that are interested in swimming, maybe want to pick up something on the side, enjoy teaching children. Like, maybe there's somebody like
Right.
that in the community that we can find or will rise up.
Yeah. Maybe we just have to market it differently.
Yeah. So hopefully we can find somebody.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah. So like I said, I mean, knowing that we weren't going to be running at least a full program this year, nor do I think offering those older levels long-term is the route for us. I knew we would have more opportunity to change our hours in general, right? And so just wanted to get your pulse on the like opening earlier, but maybe closing earlier idea.
I think, if you show that if you have like numbers that people don't come late at night, I do think like it'd be interesting to see on a Friday night. I think of all the nights, Friday might be the night you would come later because you don't have to go to work the next day. You get off work, you might want to stop by, it's hot. But like the other days of the week, I would agree to closing early if you're just not seeing any demand for that.
Like I said, it was always mainly based on that 5:30 swim class, and you would see the people coming for that, and then a handful of people coming at 6 for that last dip. And so that's what I was looking at, maybe a Friday or Saturday. It's harder with the way we're set up now to run that longer shift. Like if we were to still keep going at 10 on a Saturday, because that turns into like a 10-hour shift for these guys, and that's kind of long. So that's why I debated whether to do like the 11 to 7 on that day, or do we just need the Friday? No, the Friday night till 7, but like in general, so that's go, and so without having this one, and then last year obviously people weren't needing to come after work late because that wasn't the case anymore. And so if that's still right, the course of the way the world is now functioning, number one, but number two, they're all going to do what they want to do after you leave anyway, no matter what time we close. So does it, versus that demand of the kids and the grandmothers and everything that we hear for the morning, right?
Yeah, I would think the morning would be the priority if you had to pick.
So yeah, I just wanted to run by you guys what I was thinking, and the goal being that our spring and summer programs are going to come out next week, and so I was drafting that flyer for the beach and the fees, and wanted to put that in there.
Okay. Anything else?
And so that was just the director's report, which is really just so we met right after Grafton celebrates the holidays. But yeah, so we're just spring summer mode. I said I've been working on I don't know, 24-page brochure coming out next week with everything happening. So, bringing back the road race and truck day, and the 2 years ago, I was going to do like a beach party. We used to do fun in the sun at Nelson Park for a couple of years. I wanted to change it to a beach party. So that will be on track there. The pet movie night, we're back. The concerts are lined up, but we've had 1 or 2 back out because they've been disbanding. I think it's hard to keep them together, I guess, after a couple of years of not doing much, but we'll get there. So yeah, everything will be out for that. So we'll be pushing that. Registration opens the first week of February, February 7th. And hoping we're as back in action as we can be.
And then what about the ice skating rink? Did they wind up putting that up in South Grafton this year, or?
He did.
Yep, that's up. You're going pretty good on Saturday. So this week will obviously help it a lot. We had after that first, was it round? When did Daryl call me? With the beginning of the year, like that meltdown type thing, and it leaked, and it was, it leaked again, whatever. So Daryl was spending all his time when he goes, did anyone call you and say whatever? And they're like, the liner got cut, because it melted, and then they can go in there and go fishing and swimming and whatever they want to do in there. And he thought maybe it was sliced, but I guess he figured it out, or it froze hard enough. But so we were able to make it work. So he called me on Saturday, and yeah.
I saw people on it on Sunday.
Yeah, so that's back. That's good. And then still trying to hire our third person in here. So hopefully that will happen before the summer. Or we have someone we talked to who already worked for us from the summer, but it was really going to be difficult this year to kind of have her not do that role. And so we're going to take a look at it again if no one else comes to the table. Because we liked a lot of what she said, like we had the people we talked to all brought different things to the table. And it was just like, what's going to be the right piece to this puzzle? And they all had, advantages and disadvantages. And so, we were a little unsure with her. So we were kind of put different eyes on her this summer and see if this will work.
Now, what about who was the guy that helps you, like with the turkey race and stuff? Was he not?
Oh, Cody. Well, he got a full-time job in assessors here.
Oh, okay.
And so he's been going forward with that.
Any news on on a new commissioner?
So that was the only thing. So I just got the applications today, which I think only sent to Kristen. And so I didn't know if, you wanted them to come in again, or Kristen, you wanted to let, Kristen go through on her own, how soon you wanted to, get someone on board. So there were 4 applications. One is Dan Fitzgerald, who you met when Christine applied.
Was he the other pickleball guy, or was he? Okay,
Yeah.
so he was a
Yeah.
police officer?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 names I'm not familiar with, and then one who's recently got active, reaching out and getting involved in pickleball, and wrote a pretty good description of what else he's done kind of recreationally and what he's involved in. And so
Do you know him, Jen?
only just since I started meeting with him about bringing pickleball back indoors here.
I couldn't believe his resume, a master's in
You read
sports management, and
He has his own
oh, you
company.
guys
He's
haven't
really
had the
good.
opportunity to read it. I was reading his credentials. I'm like, wow, this guy's got everything.
He's a really
Is he like an
interesting
older guy?
No,
Oh.
he's pretty young. But he's
Is that
just
the person that came to talk to us about pickleball, that came to one of our meetings, or no?
No, I've never met him
Oh.
before till he started calling about just pickleball in general in town. And
Okay.
then, I mean, his like energy, he's all about networking and how everyone can help each other like accomplish, their goals. And
Doesn't he have like media experience too?
yeah, I mean, he has his own
marketing?
company. It seems like he has his own company, which is about like, I have to pull it up, making connections. And so he's all about just like putting people with people to, and so, yeah, then I read, what he wrote on that.
And he
paper.
was an athlete too, wasn't he?
Right.
Didn't he
yeah,
have all kinds of athletic credentials and stuff? So,
something like it. Yeah. Yeah. So he had some good energy.
What are you saying, Kristen? We're not qualified?
well,
Yeah.
I was just very impressed with his list of credentials for recreation.
I'm sure if you guys thought about it, you could come up with some,
We can make crap up too.
Let me make crap. Oh goodness. All right. I have
Oh
another.
yeah, it
book
was
to
kind of
read.
nice to talk to him last time. I don't know if we could invite him to the Zoom meeting.
Yeah,
to
I
just-
found it helpful to meet them.
So I don't know if when, like how soon.
What
But
do
yeah,
you
so
want
I
me to
guess then,
appoint
Gina, I
them?
know you have to go, but I guess it would just be, do you want all four to come in? Or Kristen, do you want to look at it and kind of pick like your top whatever and then have them come in?
I forget how we did it the last time. I feel like everybody came in. Didn't
Yes, I do
Everybody is
too. There
coming.
were 4, I think. 1,
Thought
2,
so.
3.
They're
There were
definitely
4
three.
last time.
Oh, well, Anne Marie. So yeah, there are four.
I don't know if we want to narrow down because I feel like they could come in and then realize that they don't really want it. And I wouldn't want to limit us. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. They might just be like, maybe this isn't the best fit for me. So, and then there's only 4.
It might not
I
click
mean,
well with Gina.
that might be what?
They might
That
not
might
like
be-
us.
That might be fine too if they don't like it. I mean,
I'm looking
Well,
forward
I
to the
say,
energy,
I
Kristen.
say invite all of them in. And how many positions do we have available, Jen?
Just the one.
Okay, because I remember at one point we had more seats. But okay, so it's just
at one
5.
point maybe we talked about adding. Did we talk about?
Well, we might have gotten rid of one
got rid of one.
at one point. We had more. So, all right, so we just need one person. So
Okay.
stiff competition now.
I know. Yeah, so I didn't know again then your time frame. So I'll have them so then get prepared because then we're loading up the February agenda here.
Okay, I'll be prepared for a longer agenda.
All right.
That's all I get.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Second? Somebody have a
second.
second? Kayla
I'll second.
seconds?
Yep.
All right, all in favor, Gina,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Kayla?
Yes.
I'm yes, so we're adjourning at 7:59.